Okay, so few days ago, about 3 days ago, Verydarkman, when he was in Ivory Coast, he noticed some children when they don't traffic go Ivory Coast for illegal trafficking. Now, these children are quite small, so what he did was he raised awareness. But in raising the awareness, he called on Abike Dabiri, the person in charge of NIDCOM, and he did not just call on her, he threatened her. What he did not know was that that is not the job of NIDCOM. So Abike Dabiri now have responded. The matter was on Arise TV yesterday. There are some things that we need to point out, right? First and foremost, I'm going to take you through the analysis of Arise TV. You get one point I would like to make. Watch this.
Martins Vincent Oshe, popularly known as Verydarkman, has highlighted the plight of young girls trafficked from Nigeria to Ivory Coast. In a video posted on Instagram, the activist called on the chairperson of the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri, giving her a one-week ultimatum to repatriate the girls to Nigeria, warning that her failure to act will result in serious problems. He claimed that the trafficked girls in Ivory Coast were in their hundreds and that some were as young as 12 years old.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
So Abike Dabiri, the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora, after this post, I am giving you exactly 1 week, to find solution to this. Exactly 1 week. If after 1 week, these girls are not back to this country, I'll give you the biggest problem you have ever seen in your life. Nigerians, let me show you something. Take a good look at it.
I don't think any of these girls, I don't think any of them here is up to 15. Let me ask them, they say they are from Nigeria, but some people from Nigeria have come and they found out that they are actually from Kano. So
they are Nigerians.
They've taken them to Nigeria before to go and beg. Sure. So from Nigeria now, they were moved here. So they think that they are from Nigeria, but they are originally from Kano. When they were moved to go to Nigeria to go and beg. So this is actually Nigerian killer. This is like 0.3% or 2% of the entire problem that is happening here in Cote d'Ivoire, because there is a lot of shanties where a lot of Nigerians are, where they are using them for sex trafficking.
Can you imagine?
Well, meanwhile, Abike Dabiri has reacted to VDM's ultimatum, calling it ignorant and misinformed. Let's take Abike Dabiri's tweet. She wrote on X, totally wrong, misinformed, and ignorant call. Have you heard of NAPTIP Nigeria? It's the agency responsible solely for trafficking. NIDCOM has collaborated with them as much as we can. And for your information, using my own personal resources, not government, I'm sure NAPTIP Nigeria will treat appropriately. I advise you to tag them. I mean, Vimbai, this is a huge topic. I mean, I know on the cover of Daily Trust newspapers, if we can pull that up, and their lead story on the Daily Trust is traffickers using digital platforms to lure Nigerians. And NAPTIP is saying that over 7,000 victims have been rescued in 2 years.
Over 7,000.
And of course, I reached out to Abike Dabiri and she did talk to me about what kind of collaboration that they have been doing with NAPTIP. And she was graceful to send me, some of the roles of NAPTIP. I'll just read a few of them and then I'll come to you. And powers of NAPTIP, I'd like to educate Nigerians. They have the powers, one, to investigate whether any person, body, or entity has committed an offense under this act or the offense of trafficking under any law. Two, enter into any premises, property, or conveyance for the purpose of conducting searches in furtherance of its functions under this act or under any other law. Three, arrest, detain, and persecute offenders under this act or any other law on trafficking in persons in Nigeria. I mean, I would say kudos to NAPTIP, really. 7,000 Nigerians in 2 years. It's a lot. And kudos to also VDM for going out there and highlighting the plight of these young children who have been trafficked, most of them unknowingly, to Ivory Coast, saying that there are hundreds that are out there. As much as we give kudos to NAPTIP, we urge them to look into the case of those children trafficked to Ivory Coast.
Thank you so much for that. And those are the main points. First of all, I begin with those girls, not just these girls.
Small children.
victims of trafficking around. Yes, it's a tall order for NAPTIP, but for now we know about this group, so we continue to advocate for NAPTIP in collaboration with NIDCOM to do something about this. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to Verydarkman, I think it's important for us to always encourage activism and for us to, to commend it. However, it's also important for us to set out the structures in the manner which we do so. I know he has his own way of communicating and getting his message across to his followers and so forth, but it's important to note that we can't threaten people on social media.
No,
that is not correct.
Yes.
Now to the main issue. NIDCOM itself, under Madam Abike Dabiri, last year, remember there was the issue of the Nigerian girls in Ghana. 13 of them. And she personally went to Ghana to visit these girls who had been promised jobs as sales girls in Ghana.
She does that
and in collaboration with other stakeholders, were able to bring them in. As from just the end, in the second half of last year, they were able to repatriate about 163 girls, young ladies who had been trafficked to various parts of the world. That's NIDCOM's own collaboration. So that's, separate to what NAPTIP is doing. So I understand, NIDCOM is more visible. So I understand the call to NIDCOM. She is doing her part in her capacity. It's not actually her ministry. That's not the work of the Diaspora Commission. NAPTIP is the national agency for the prohibition of trafficking in persons. That's why we're appealing for them to now get their attention to this particular issue concerning these young girls, so they can work in a way that they have done so many times in the past to bring them back. Now, digital platforms, you now have what's happening in the region. You have Togo, you have Ghana, you have Cote d'Ivoire. Further off, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Qatar, you have so many countries where jobs are advertised. Sales girl, nanny, domestic staff, and so forth. And so many young girls get stuck out there. Those who come back with their lives are fortunate, because many get there and they find that it's not real work, that they're enslaved, that they're abused, that the stories are harrowing, not just from Nigeria, from across Africa. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this, that this conversation has now come to the front burner. And as much as it is not the onus is not on NIDCOM to focus on this issue, we thank them for the collaboration in the past, and we hope that they can continue the collaborative work with all of the stakeholders involved. Because with that Ghana issue, there was Nigerians in Ghana Diaspora Association, just volunteers who came together. So this is a community effort. So let's all come together in a positive light. I don't think there's a necessity for us to abuse each other and threaten each other. This is a collaborative agenda that has to come together. So very important to just highlight that.
Well, Rufai, I'd like for you to speak to the Daily Trust newspaper, trafficking using digital platforms. I mean, it's become
through Facebook and
Instagram.
They carry that you're really,
good with
these platforms
and digital age now. Talk to us about how this sort of incident can be prevented.
The truth is, it's a big recruitment ground for all these traffickers. A lot of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Not really much on Twitter as much as Facebook and TikTok particularly. Instagram.
Yeah.
This platform easily can be used, and that's why you should be careful, because what they prey on is the poverty in the land and your own greed.
Yeah.
And that's why this morning when we're talking about the economic numbers, things are not well in Nigeria. That's why it's so easy. If you hear what they promise these people, Audrey, you'll be shocked. Paltry amounts of money. I do a lot in the charity space. I interface with a lot of poor people. I mean, I see an outreach in the village over the weekend. So I know what a couple of thousands can do. I know how people will take on anything.
Just to get 5K, thank you.
Authority to do the needful to educate them. And that's why I would like to ask NAPTIP. Why is the 85 million naira you put in the budget, your budget this year for publicity? Probably we can start by using that money to do even if possible social media campaigns. If the money is being approved. Because I've also talked to people in NAPTIP. What they complain about is that it's not that they don't want to do these things, but the budget is never enough.
Yes.
But the national budget is always approved.
How the wife of maybe it's President Tinubu had to provide a bus for an organization that helped repatriate these young people. I feel Verydarkman's plight. But when you go to the nitty-gritty of these agencies, it's not that easy. What they propose in the budget is not what they get in the end.
But Senate, they approve the budget.
Budget has been greatly hampered by this Trump tariff situation. So most people will not get everything to get by. And Abike Dabiri was right. It's really supposed to be the role of NAPTIP. But how well has NAPTIP been funded? How well have we done the education? But Oji, the most important part of all of this is economic empowerment. Just some minutes ago, I was talking to somebody and said, what does poverty mean? Passing over opportunity regularly. If people have things doing, they will not be trafficked for paltry amounts.
Yeah. They will not.
Many years ago, when Nigeria was still a lot better, you had a reduction in this story. It's when Nigeria started to go bad, you started hearing trafficking of people to Italy and all of that. The height of it was when they did that movie Glamour Girls in the 90s. That was when it was really out there and the scourge was out there. So we should do everything to ensure that the economy works. If the economy works, we'll have less of all of this.
All right, we have put the searchlight on it. I have a good point. Okay,
first, to commend Abike Dabiri at Irewa. She has been doing an excellent job.
Yeah, she did try.
The
She did try.
Diaspora Commission.
She did try.
She took over that agency. She has been very proactive. She's been very excellent in terms of meeting the objectives, the mandate of that particular agency. Two, the point has been well made that there's a body called NAPTIP that is responsible for trafficking in persons, which is an offense under the laws of Nigeria. And those laws need to be enforced. Now, let's go to the third point.
Wow.
I'm trying to be very brief about Verydarkman, Martin Ose. I appreciate his, enthusiasm, almost like portable, getting overexcited over many things.
How you go use portable?
Okikiola, who now says he wants to fight Anthony Joshua.
How you go use portable to explain meaning?
And he's looking for an opportunity to get into the ring. Look, some of these people who have space on social media, they get over enthusiastic.
Sometimes.
And they abuse the platform. I think that Martin Ose, saying that he was giving Abike Dabiri 1 week ultimatum.
If not, you will give up problem.
Abike Dabiri, I'm warning you, 1 week. Otherwise, I will create serious problems for NIDCOM. That's beyond the pale of decorum.
That was overboard.
He can make his point. He has done very well to draw attention to the issue. But he has no right to threaten a state official. Okay? So I think that was a bit overboard. And all these people who say they are on Instagram, they are on this and that. Yes, media has become very democratic. Right. But there's also too many quacks and ignorant people, using that space and going, beyond their boundaries.
Right.
I think his statement about Abike Dabiri and NIDCOM is unfair. And we need to underscore that.
All right.
He can do his activism, but he should do so with some level of education.
All right.
Not ignorance.
Well, we have to hand.
Okay, so you see, Verydarkman is necessary, very necessary. If he has not raised alarm, this particular guest for Ivory Coast now we no go know. Yeah, we're gonna say people that they move people, they traffic people, but this particular children now we no go know. What did the verse and say? Those people are children. Yeah, so it's fine to raise alarm, but you will need to understand who you are aiming at. If you must be a soldier who handles a gun. The power you have now is like a gun. If you shoot, it can destroy somebody. The power of a VDM now can send a minister out of his ministerial position. So he has to be well educated as to who he's shooting at. If not, when you shoot me, the person who you shoot will be forced to answer you. That is why Abike Dabiri is blasting back. NIDCOM is for Nigerians in diaspora. Normally, those girls supposed to be under NIDCOM. But Nigeria has created a separate agency to focus on people that have been trafficked, and that is NAPTIP. So you are supposed to understand very well who you are supposed to attack before you attack. Now, well done for pulling this out. Whether we like it or not, whether you said it in the right way or not, something is going to be done about those girls. And it is because you have said it. But going forward, you need to know who you're attacking, because now what's happened between you and the Falanos be that you attack Miss. So please, let's be careful. We don't need to rain insults unless the team don't sure they need to insult person. Why?